Vince Colors and Tom Burrell were pioneers that made advertising into a multicultural media and introduced the importance of cultural relevance in ads. Before Colors and Burrell entered advertising, early advertising was generic and did not accurately represent or connect with all American consumers. The early decades of advertising was usually catered to white consumers, and when brown or black people were shown, it was usually in a negative depiction. Ads often displayed being black as something undesirable, and African Americans were often displayed as having mannerisms of a clown. Colors started his career as an art director in Chicago at Ebony Magazine and later opened his own advertising agency, Vince Colors Advertising, in the 1950s and was able to land the national client Kent Cigarettes. This account and others that followed began to change the world of advertising.
Vince Colors was my father, who started the first African American advertising agency in the country. The year that he started it was 1956. It was a lack of respect for African Americans by advertisers during that time. One of the big things that he changed was showing a positive image of African Americans, not just the mammy or not just the butler. One big one was a very historic campaign, was the Wantu Waziri Afro Sheen campaign in the 60s, which showed a affinity for the African American culture. That gained a lot of recognition for African Americans, as well as opened the eyes of a lot of major corporations.
Vince Colors not only changed the image of black people in advertising, but was a major contributor to black television programming. He helped Don Cornelius, creator and executive producer of the TV show Soul Train, obtain sponsorship from Johnson Products to take the Chicago show national.
Jerry Butler and Brenda Lee Edgar and the Soul Train Gang, brought to you by Johnson Products Company, makers of Ultra Sheen, Afro Sheen, and the new Ultra Sheen Facial Fashions makeup.
Colors opened the doors for African Americans in advertising and in television. His agency is still producing ads and now is run by his son Jeff Colors. In 2007, Colors was inducted into the Advertising Hall of Fame in New York for his work. Another ad man that was equally instrumental in changing advertising to accurately depict the African American culture was Tom Burrell. He started his career in a Chicago advertising agency mailroom and worked his way up to become a copywriter. Eventually, he opened his own agency, Burrell Communications, in 1971. Burrell's big break happened when Philip Morris wanted a black version of their horseback riding cowboy, the Marlboro Man.
The Longhorns come to Marlboro country. Marlboro 100s in the big gold.
First of all, when you start talking about Longhorns, you've lost me. You've lost me on Longhorns. I'm done. And then when you start talking about 100 years ago, you lost me on that too, because that's the last thing I want to do is go back 100 years ago with a bunch of rural cowboy white guys. That doesn't sound too safe. We changed the line from "come to where the flavor is," and the line was simply "where the flavor is." So we're basically saying that the city where black people are is where the flavor is.
Burrell took the Marlboro Man out of the country and into the city. He made the Marlboro Man relatable and realistic for the black community. Instead of a country cowboy, the Marlboro Man was a cool, fashionable, and modern man. Burrell's agency created campaigns for big-time brands such as Coca-Cola and McDonald's and embraced the American black culture in his ads. Burrell continues to work in advertising and wrote a book in 2010 entitled Brainwashed. Colors and Burrell's legacy is that they changed the world of advertising, and with that, they helped change society. These men's work reflected black culture during the time of the civil rights and black power movement, when African Americans were beginning to have their voices heard in the mainstream media.
As always, in parting, we wish you love, peace, and soul.